Hi, good morning everyone. It's Andrea, the martial arts woman. Today we're going to talk about what do women bring to martial arts. I think it's a fun topic, something I just thought about this morning and recognized that there are differences between men and women. But we're going to talk about what women bring to the martial art table. And sometimes we don't think about it in that way because we're all equals when it comes to martial arts. But is there a difference? Are there some differences between what men bring and what women bring to this beautiful table that we set of martial art experiences? So I thought it would be a fun little topic, and I wrote down some thoughts about it, of course, and having my coffee here. So I hope everyone's having a good morning, first of all. And my mission really has been about bringing positivity and martial arts to the world in some way that everybody can enjoy it. And just wanted to point out a couple of the books that I've written, The Martial Arts Women and Martial Art Inspirations for Everyone. This one in particular is so important because I think it's really one of the first books that allows women to talk about their experiences as women and martial artists. I think that you'll find it really interesting and valuable. It's available on Amazon. And memorializing martial art women's stories is another way that I really try to bring light to the martial art woman and what she's all about. Because, we can see them just as a martial artist just as we can for men, but the truth is that there's two different perspectives when we talk about how men and women view martial arts, practice martial arts. Neither is right or wrong or better, but there are definitely two kind of sides to the story. The first, I think really women fill out the other half of martial arts, where there's strength, there's technique, or there's kind of a yin and yang thing going on between how men and women practice their martial arts. And we have to recognize that generally they have different body types, so they have different strengths, they have different capabilities. A smaller woman could be a lot quicker than a larger man, depending on what it is you're practicing. They definitely have different perspectives. I mean, a woman sees the world differently than a man does, and of course she has, perhaps motherhood, or being a wife, or being a sister, and the roles that she plays as a caregiver, or someone who is nurturing. And all of those aspects come out even in martial arts, believe it or not. As an instructor for many years, I taught a lot of kids, and while I was strict in their training, if they got hurt or if they got worried or they had anxiety, I was always the one to pull them aside and give them that little pep talk and let them know that they can do it, that I would be there for them. So it really created that positive engagement that women can often make with others, whether they're students or other relationships. So I think that's a true difference that we don't talk about a lot, but there is that difference in how we see our students. It's a difference in how we think about ourselves as martial artists. Women have different body types, different perspectives, and different strengths. And really they bring a fullness, if you want to think of it that way, to martial art practice. So there are definitely some differences in, let's say, perspective and in action. Often women seek personal journeys through martial arts. And I've discovered this really through my podcast, the Martial Arts Woman Podcast. I hope that you give it a listen, by the way. I interview fascinating martial art women all over the world, and it's really insightful. And so this is where I get the fact, or maybe I won't call it a fact because I didn't research it, but just from my own experiences, that women seek personal journeys through martial arts. So for instance, many of them are fighting back. They're fighting back against abuse or violence in their lives. And this is one way for them to take action. This is something, men do this as well. I won't say that. There are definitely a lot of martial art men who have had abusive situations, and they do that. But for the majority of women that I interview, there's a large group of women who are overcoming personal issues. And so martial arts becomes a personal journey for them. And it's the opportunity for them to take control of their lives again. They are seeking ways to be empowered and ways to overcome some of their obstacles. They want to strengthen and empower themselves. You know, even for me, beginning martial arts in my 20s, I was raised, and I mention this a lot, I was raised to be polite and quiet and not make a big fuss, and certainly not to yell or be rude to somebody. So learning martial arts, how to retrain my brain about how to defend myself. You know, before that, I didn't have the tools. So martial arts really does provide women with tools that they typically don't learn throughout their earlier life. A lot of times men even gradually learn these tools, how to defend themselves, how to be strong, and how to be empowered and take control if they have to, but oftentimes women are not taught these throughout their earlier years. Women often learn to strengthen and empower themselves, which is such a big aspect of martial arts. Next, the other thing I notice about women in martial arts is that they'll go to great lengths to learn a martial art. If they're really interested, they will search and seek and reach out and really find the place that they want to go to learn their martial art. Many women ask me, how do I begin? Where do I start? And so they're very anxious about learning. It takes them a little bit of time, really, to get the ball rolling. They're not easily engaged. They don't typically just jump in for the woman who doesn't have a lot of background and experience. The same was for me when I began. I went because my husband asked me to go, and I wasn't all that in. It wasn't that important to me, but as I started going and I started learning the benefits of martial arts, that's when I was like, yes, this is the right thing for me and the right thing for a lot of women. So for all you women out there, you know, make sure that you find what's right for you and continue your practice. So memorializing the stories of martial art women is so important because we don't have that in our background. We also don't have a lot of martial art groups and social media that is powerful for women. There are definitely some out there, and some are growing, and I like to be a part of that growing trend to help women have a voice. So again, that's why I've written the book, The Martial Arts Woman. That's why I have the Martial Arts Woman podcast. All of these things are to help and provide tools for women. I just started a YouTube channel. Well, I've had it, but I've never really done much with it. So now I'm posting all of my positive live chats like this on YouTube, so it's another resource where people can go and learn a little bit more about women in martial art. So I hope that you recognize the importance of women in martial arts. I know you do if you're here. And the fact is, we are different. Men and women are different. We have different perspectives, different reasons. But when it comes down to it, we learn the same. We are learning martial arts together. It's a joint effort. We're all martial artists, so it's very important to, you know, keep your perspectives open. Be understanding of each other as men and women in martial arts. Train and practice together. Do everything together, but recognize, you know, that women and men have a few differences that do not affect their martial art training. They're simply perspectives, maybe. They're how they've grown up, the lessons that they've learned. Make sure that you recognize the power of martial art women in martial arts. We bring so much to the table. And yes, sometimes it might be a different perspective, sometimes it might be a different technique. That's what martial arts are all about. It's not men, women, or kids, it's martial artists, it's students, it's instructors, it's what we do and what we enjoy doing. So again, women have their reasons for learning martial arts. Some are competitive, some again are overcoming abuse situations. Some, it's a very personal journey, and I think this can apply to men too, but I see it more predominantly with women in martial arts. So those are some of my points. Again, to recap, women really fill out the other half of martial arts. That's how I see it. For a long period of time, women were not allowed to practice martial arts. So when we did begin, we had to prove ourselves. And I think today, sometimes we're still proving ourselves. But we bring together new perspectives. We have different body types. We have different strengths. We have different abilities and capabilities. And so when you bring that all to the martial art table, we're seeing just a very vibrant and beautiful way to practice martial arts each and every day. So thanks so much for stopping by if you did. I'm Andrea, the Martial Arts Woman. Please check out my podcast, the Martial Arts Woman Podcast. Again, I interview fascinating martial art women all over the world, from beginners to experts. It doesn't matter. Every woman deserves to have her story told, and that's the purpose of the podcast. And also my book, The Martial Arts Woman, and Martial Art Inspirations for Everyone, available on Amazon or through me. Ladies, let's step up and make ourselves known. I know that there's a lot of male-dominated groups out there, and we just need to start to infiltrate. We bring something very important to the table. Never forget it. Okay, I'll talk to you all again real soon. Have a wonderful day.